Breaking news! Big decisions could be coming for the Las Vegas Raiders, and they could shape the entire season. Training camp is just around the corner, and the Silver and Black still have millions in cap space to work with. But who should they bring in before time runs out? Today, we're revealing the top 10 free agents the Raiders should target right now. And trust me, you'll want to stay till the end. One of these names might just be a game changer. Before we dive into the latest updates, make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment of Raiders news. Now, let's get into it. The Raiders are entering training camp with $36.2 million in cap space. That's the fifth most in the NFL. Rookies report on July 17th, and the veterans follow on July 22nd. With that much money sitting around, it only makes sense to strengthen the roster. You might be wondering, will they actually sign anyone? No one knows for sure, but if the front office wants to compete, now's the time. Like legendary coach Pete Carroll once said, "You're either competing or you're not. We ain't letting up now." That mindset should be in Vegas too. 10. DT Jonathan Bullard. Let's kick off the list with defensive tackle Jonathan Bullard. He's not a superstar, but he's had 2 solid years with the Vikings, starting 31 games since 2022. What makes him even more interesting? He's familiar with Raiders DC Patrick Graham's scheme and previously worked under Pete Carroll in 2020. Now, this isn't a move to replace Adam Butler, but if Christian Wilkins' injury turns out to be serious, you need a healthy backup, and Bullard's been durable. He won't cost much, he's dependable, and he fits the system. That's why he makes this top 10. 9. Safety. Jordan Whitehead, the hidden fix for Vegas's secondary. Let's talk about Jordan Whitehead, a smart, tough safety with 101 career starts and a Super Bowl ring. He's 28, and while he's mostly played free safety, he's also shown the ability to line up in the box or even in the slot when needed. That kind of flexibility fits perfectly with how Patrick Graham likes to move his safeties around. Whitehead comes from the John Spytek coaching tree, and we've seen how valuable coaching connections can be in player evaluations. Last season, he racked up 79 tackles and 3 pass breakups. He's not a flashy name, but he's consistent, and right now, the Raiders could use a steady presence in the backfield. Because here's the truth. The secondary looks shaky, and if Christian Wilkins isn't fully healthy, we'll have even more pressure on our defensive backs. Whitehead gives you experience, toughness, and won't break the bank. A low-risk move that could bring much-needed reliability. Number 8. W.R. Keenan Allen, emergency weapon for the offense. This might surprise some fans, but yes, Keenan Allen makes the list. Before you raise your eyebrows, here's the deal. The Raiders are confident in young receivers like Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton Jr., and Jack Beck. They believe in Jacoby Myers, and they're excited about both Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. So why mention Allen at all? Because sometimes you need to break the glass in case of emergency, and Keenan Allen could be that emergency solution. If someone underperforms during camp, or if depth becomes a real concern, Allen is a guy who's still got it. He started at least 10 games every year since 2017, and last season, he was a reliable weapon for Caleb Williams in Chicago. He's also worked directly with Raiders wide receivers coach Chris Beatty for years, both with the Chargers and the Bears. Oh, and don't forget, Allen grew up a Raiders fan. If the front office decides Geno Smith needs another veteran target, Keenan Allen would be one of the best out there. He's not a must-sign, but if this offense needs one final piece to be elite, Allen's that guy. 7. CB Rasul Douglas, veteran depth with shutdown potential. Now let's shift to defense again, with Rasul Douglas at number 7. Douglas is a tall, physical outside corner who brings leadership and experience. He made the Pro Bowl in 2022, and even though he's nearing 30, he still has plenty left in the tank. If you're trying to build a championship-level defense, you need depth at corner, and Douglas fits the mold of a Pete Carroll-style player. long arms, tough at the line, and capable of holding his own against top receivers. He's not coming in to be a savior. But as a veteran who knows how to battle and doesn't shy away from contact, he's exactly the type of player who could round out the Raiders' secondary. Number 7. C.B. Rasul Douglas, veteran, with something to prove. Rasul Douglas is no stranger to setbacks. He's been cut by teams, including the Raiders in 2021, only to bounce back and become a Pro Bowler with the Green Bay Packers. That alone shows he's built different. Yes, he's coming off a down year with a 59.2 PFF grade, but that doesn't erase what he's done in the past. At 6 feet 2 inches with long arms, he's exactly the type of physical, aggressive corner that fits in Patrick Graham's system. He's been a starter, he's battled top receivers, and he knows how to compete. Right now, the Raiders' cornerback group has talent but uncertainty. Names like Jacorian Bennett, Eric Stokes, and Darius Phillips still have to prove themselves. That's where a veteran like Douglas helps. He brings leadership, toughness, and something even more important, a chip on his shoulder. Imagine him walking into camp with the mindset, "You cut me once. Now I'll show you why that was a mistake." That's the kind of hunger you want on defense. 6. Z.B. Stephon Gilmore, the smartest corner on the market. At number 6, we've got a name that needs no introduction, Stephon Gilmore. He's the oldest player on this list, but also maybe the most respected. He's played 180 career games, started every game for 3 straight seasons, and he still shows flashes of elite coverage. Gilmore might not be the player he was in 2019 when he won NFL Defensive Player of the Year, but he's still reliable. And more importantly, he's smart. He knows how to position himself, how to lead younger corners, and how to adapt. He's played in multiple systems, handled change well, and still produced at a high level in places like Carolina, Indianapolis, and Dallas. If the Raiders need someone who can step in on day one and be trusted in man coverage, Gilmore's your guy. Yes, he allowed a 94.1 passer rating last year. That's not ideal. But look beyond the number. The man still played strong, physical football against some of the league's best. And here's a thought. Could Gilmore eventually transition to safety? We've seen it with players like Patrick Peterson. If that happens, his intelligence and awareness could still give the Raiders a serious boost on the back end. In short, Gilmore isn't just a body. You'd be signing a leader, a teacher, and a proven winner. 6. Recap. Why Gilmore's versatility matters. Before we jump into the top 5, let's not forget why Stephon Gilmore made this list. Yes, he's 34, but the versatility he brings is rare. Whether it's at corner or even free safety, Gilmore gives the Raiders options, especially in a defense that asks a lot from its DBs. Now, let's dive into the top 5, starting with a player who might quietly be one of the best fits left on the market. 5. Safety Quandre Diggs, experience the back end, desperately needs. Quandre Diggs might not have the biggest name, but his value is hard to ignore. At 32 years old with 145 career games, he's a proven veteran who knows what it takes to lead a defense. He spent 5 seasons under Pete Carroll, and during that time he played some of the best football of his career. Last year, Diggs posted a solid 73.2 PFF grade, strong in coverage and dependable in the run game. That matters, especially in Patrick Graham's system, which frequently uses 3 safeties. Here's the real concern. If the Raiders enter the season with Isaiah Pola-Mao, Lonnie Johnson Jr., and Thomas Harper behind Jeremy Chinn, there's serious risk. Adding Diggs would stabilize the safety room immediately. He's cheaper than Gilmore or Douglas, but arguably more important based on position need. With Diggs, you get leadership, experience, and reliability, something the Raiders desperately need on the back end. 4. CB Mike Hilton. Underrated, aggressive, and built for the slot corner is a critical spot in today's NFL. And it's not clear what the Raiders plan to do there yet. That's why Mike Hilton lands at number 4. At 31, Hilton has quietly stacked 4 straight seasons with a 70-plus PFF grade. He's been incredibly productive over the past 2 years. 157 total tackles, 13 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, 24 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Those are elite numbers for a nickel corner. He's also a former teammate of Jermaine Pratt, now the Raiders' top linebacker. That familiarity could bring instant chemistry in the middle of the defense. If the Raiders decide to stay flexible with safeties like Chin or Polamalu in hybrid roles, they still need a true slot defender, and Hilton is one of the best available. 4. Recap. Mike Hilton, a dog in the slot. When you talk about Mike Hilton, you're talking about grit. At just 5 feet 9 inches, 185 pounds, he's not the biggest guy, but he plays with that dog mentality Raiders fans love. Yes, Amik Robertson is no longer on the team, but that same fire and that same attitude lives in Hilton. He's the kind of player who throws his body into tackles, doesn't shy away from contact, and leads by example. He's a fighter, a veteran, and a perfect mentor for young Raiders defensive backs. Let's move to the top 3, starting with a player who can reshape the entire defensive line if used the right way. Warrant 3. DE/DT Jadeveon Clowney, the versatile monster. This line needs coming in at number 3 is Jadeveon Clowney, a name every NFL fan knows but one the Raiders should seriously consider. Why? Because this regime clearly values versatility on the defensive line. Clowney is a rare hybrid. He can line up at defensive end, defensive tackle, or even stand-up linebacker in certain looks. He's a perfect fit in a system that demands flexibility. In the past 2 seasons, Clowney has totaled 15 sacks, and he's coming off a strong stretch of play. Back in 2019, when he played under Pete Carroll, he posted an impressive 87.3 PFF grade on over 600 snaps. He knows the system, and he's shown he can thrive in it. With Christian Wilkins recovering, there's no true one-for-one replacement on the market. But Clowney gives you a way to strengthen the entire front instead. Picture this: a rotation of Tyree Wilson and Clowney, using both inside and outside. That kind of mix gives offensive lines nightmares and opens up opportunities for Max Crosby to eat. Yes, Clowney might cost a bit, but at 32 years old, he's got every reason to go all in this season. A final push, a big payday, a legacy boost, and the Raiders could be the team that benefits most from that mindset. Honorable mentions, still worth watching. Before we hit the top 2 names, here are a few honorable mentions the Raiders could circle back to, depending on how camp unfolds. LB Kezier White, a solid vet if there's concern about depth behind Amari Gaynor. CB Shaquille Griffin, took a visit, knows the league, and brings experience. ZTB Asante Samuel Jr., a talented name out there, though he doesn't quite fit Pete Carroll's mold. DT Quinton Jefferson and DT Austin Johnson. Both have ties to this coaching staff and could provide rotation help up front. Y2. Julian Blackmon, a long-term leader for the secondary. At number 2 is a name Raiders fans need to know: Julian Blackmon. Still just 26 years old, Blackmon has started 62 games in 5 seasons and keeps getting better every year. That's no small feat in today's NFL. With 7 interceptions and 174 tackles over the past 2 seasons, he's proving he can handle both the run and the pass. But here's what really stands out: growth and coachability. If the Raiders' defensive staff believes they can develop talent, Blackmon should be at the top of their list. His coverage grades have steadily improved, hitting 72.6 in 2023 and 73.5 in 2024. That kind of consistency shows this isn't just a flash in the pan. He's trending upward. This isn't just a one-year plug. This is a chance to lock in a quality safety during his prime years. Tie him to your defensive core alongside names like Max Crosby, Adam Butler, and Christian Wilkins. Blackmon, at age 27, 28, 29 could be a real building block. If the Raiders are thinking long-term success, Julian Blackmon is the smart move. 1. Justin Simmons, the immediate fix for a broken back end. If the Raiders want help right now, the answer is clear: Justin Simmons. He's been one of the NFL's most reliable and respected safeties for years. Simmons has started at least 12 games every season since 2017, played in 134 total games, and racked up 2 or more interceptions every single year. Even more important, he's got direct ties to the Raiders staff. Joe Woods, now Raiders secondary coach, was Simmons' first DB coach.